This is going to be a short video talking through Claudius's religious policy. There are just two sources. There's the letter of Claudius to the Alexandrians, and there is a short section of Suetonius. So this letter of Claudius is basically responding to a request by the people of Alexandria to do some things in his honours. In his honour, sorry. So this is obviously going to give an insight into how Claudius sees the imperial cult and the worship of himself and his family, as well as his kind of wider religious policy. So the first part of it, to be honest, is just kind of saying how wonderful it is. And he talks about, I like this bit though, each one of you may admire the greatness of our god Caesar. So he's also talking about probably Augustus, be my guess. So obviously we've got the idea that the family's being worshipped because they're related to Augustus. So that's no different from anybody else that we have looked at. It then gives you his various titles. So we know from here, for example, that Claudius is Pontifex Maximus, as all the emperors are, holds the same positions to everyone else, and he's writing to them saying thank you very much. So he's saying, yeah, thank you for the letter, for directing my attention to your goodwill towards us, as in himself and his family. For this reason, I am gladly accepting the honours given to me by you, although I have no desire for such things. So he's sort of following kind of Augustus's policy here, where, oh, please, don't go overboard honouring me. I don't need all the stuff, because I don't need it. But if you want to do it, I'm not going to stop you. So, again, okay. Going back to that kind of policy, I guess, which had been lost a little bit under Tiberius and definitely lost under Caligula. So he will allow them to have my birthday as a sacred day. That's very kind of you, Claudius. He agrees to the erection of statues to myself and my family, because I can see you really want to do it. And there was a couple of golden statues were proposed, which he's inclined to refuse because it seems rather excessive. But what they will do is they will erect them somewhere else instead. So, he's sort of trying to keep them happy, like, oh, I appreciate you want to put these statues, you can have those. But these two golden ones are a bit too much. We'll do them a different way. So he's not dishonouring the people of Alexandria. It would perhaps be foolish, while accepting such great honours, to refuse the institution of a Claudian tribe. So yes, we'll have a group of people named after me. That seems silly if I'm accepting everything else. You may also erect the equestrian statues of Vitresius Pollio, of my procreators. You can put a statue up in the honour of another person who's worked on his behalf. I will also allow you to erect 4-horse chariots, which are whisked up to the entrance of your country. Okay, so I'm allowing you to do all of this, but I decline the appointment of a high priest to me. So you can't outright worship me as alive. That's going a step too far. And you can't build temples for myself. It's too much. Importantly, and I'm going to highlight this in a different colour, I'll go for yellow, for I do not wish to be offensive to my contemporaries. So that's kind of giving you a really clear snapshot of what Claudius is thinking. Yes, put some statues up, fine. Yes, you can name things after me. Yes, you can have a sacred day on my behalf. But to actually overtly worship me is not right and would be offensive. So very much going back to Augustus's policy here. It's my opinion temples of such forms of honour have been granted by all ages to the gods alone. So he's not a god. He's making that very, very clear. Although he's allowing a sacred day for his birthday, he himself is not a living god. So this, again, is a complete breakaway, obviously, from what Caligula had done. We then have this really short section of Suetonius. So Claudius revives an obsolescent traditions, invented new ones. Okay. He never admitted a priest into contract without taking a personal oath. So that's quite interesting. Oh, it's still in yellow, doesn't really matter. Required the praetors to call assembly whenever an earthquake shook. So once again, following sort of traditional omens. If an evil bird of omen, a bird of evil omen, so probably a raven or a crow, perched on the capital, Claudius would go to roster in capacity of chief priest and do all the right things. So he's following kind of traditional Roman religious practices, which again fits in with what Augustus had done. So we have got this reverting back to the more traditional imperial cult, with a few slight changes at the beginning, but nothing major. It's obviously quite different from what Caligula had done, and you're not being fined like Tiberius has done. So this is kind of as I said, more like a reset, I guess, of religious policy under Claudius. Um, and it's quite, you can make the comparisons against Augustus very, very easily.